Well, howdy! A little more music to start things off. Hey, this is Tim Freund with Dilbuck Estates and Christie's International Real Estate in Westlake Village, California. Thanks again for tuning in. If you've been following the series, this is 6B, What Do Things Cost? Now in 6A, episode 6A, I talked about the request for repair and what things cost to fix, and what's a deal breaker, what's something that you can negotiate, and is it repairs, is it credits, etc., and kind of how that works a little bit. In this section, what I want to talk about is upgrades. And these are not things that the seller is typically going to pay for. And you need to recognize that if there's something that you want and it's an upgrade, it's an upgrade. And it's extra, and that means it's not included. And you really need to have a reasonable handle on this, which means you want to do some research and you want to know what things cost. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about here. So let's take a spin. I want to start with windows. Windows. So now, there's a couple things about windows. Windows, it could be an upgrade, it could be a repair. When you have a dual pane window and you get moisture and condensation in between the panes of glass, this is because the seal has popped. There's like argon gas in there and the seal's popped, and now it's just like two pieces of glass. It doesn't have any insulation value at all, or sound insulation for that matter. So that might be something a seller would be willing to replace, the pane of glass, 300, 500, 700, depends, sliding glass door, 1,000, whatever it might be. But what if they're just old windows and you want new windows? Well, the seller's not going to replace the windows for you. It's almost a done guaranteed thing. They're not going to do it. So what's it cost? Well, I mean, depending on the size of the home, it could easily be $7,500. It could be $10,000. It could be $15,000. And if you're into the high end, you're talking Marvin or Pella, you could be at $35,000 or $40,000. In fact, if you're in a contemporary home that's got some mid-centuries feel or something, or a home that's got wood on the inside and it's got aluminum cladding on the outside, maybe it's got a cool color, looks Spanish. Well, sky's the limit. You can spend a fortune on windows. So as you're looking at your home, and if it's got old windows, this is something you're going to eventually want to budget for. And by the way, when you have repairs like I've described, HVAC problems and windows, if you have a home warranty, they may pick up some of that tab, but your regular home insurance isn't going to do that. So it's a matter of budgeting and being prepared for that eventuality. So when you're purchasing a home, you're looking at these things and you're having to make decisions. Do I want this home badly enough to know that these windows are going to have to be replaced? And the answer is usually yeah. What are you going to do? It's the home you want, or it's the home that's available, and so you're going to pull the trigger. But these are costs that you could run into as an upgrade for like windows, floors, right? How many times have you walked into a home or seen a home online, it's got orange shag carpet or vinyl in the kitchen. You're like, I'm not buying vinyl in the kitchen. My wife's going to kill me. Or my husband's, no, he can't fix it. He's never going to do it. So you got to buy flooring. So what's flooring cost, right? You see this stuff advertised all the time, $2 a foot, $4 a foot. What is that for? Okay, well, you can probably buy a laminate floor with a nice PVC, like vinyl floor. I mean, it's essentially waterproof. They're really nice. In fact, you can't even tell sometimes that they're not real wood. You can buy a nice vinyl floor for $250 a foot for the material. But the install is going to cost you another $2 a foot. If it's hardwood, it might be $250 or $3, plus you have glue to pay for to glue the floor down if it's a slab foundation. Is that all you have? I mean, I got 1,000 square feet. So how much is that? That's $250 for the material and $2 for the install. It's $450. 1,000 feet. That's going to cost me $4,500, and that's only for laminate. I mean, what if you're doing hardwood? An engineered hardwood, which is going to be a plywood base and maybe a eighth or 3/8 of an inch of hardwood on top, a veneer. That might be $6 or $7 a foot, $750 a foot. By the time you figure the $250 to install and the glue is another $1, that's $350 on top of $7, that's $10.50. Then you add in the waste. I mean, you're looking at $11 a foot, pretty much minimum to get started. And if you're using a nicer hardwood, it could easily end up at $8 and $9. And that's not talking custom, where you're talking about solid wood floors. If you're buying an older home and you've got solid wood floors everywhere else in the home because it's a raised foundation, and you want to put in solid wood floors to match someplace, well, it's going to be a lot more expensive. So hardwood can really, is that all there is? No. If only, right? If only. No, you got waste, right? So you got to figure 10% for waste. And you also have things like, baseboards. I mean, imagine the builder grade baseboard was a 2-inch baseboard and the shag carpet covered half of it. And it looked pretty crummy to begin with. And now you take that shag carpet out and you put in your wood floor and you've got like an inch of baseboard left because the shag was maybe not as thick as the laminate you're putting in, and so the baseboard just got real small. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna pull the baseboard out. You're gonna put in your laminate floors, and you're gonna go buy some new baseboard, maybe 3 or 4 inch, really pretty, and you're gonna have somebody to put that in. Well, what's that cost? Okay, well, what, $1 a foot install and the materials. I mean, it adds up. I'm not even gonna guess how much that costs. It's just something you'll need to look at, but it's part of a flooring upgrade. What about upgrading big items like kitchen? What about baths? So a kitchen with cabinets, countertops, sink, faucet, backsplash. Did I say cabinets? I mean, you could easily spend, really, without trying, $25,000 on a kitchen. Now, if you go to IKEA, you could probably do it for, 11, 12. I mean, if you're hiring non-licensed people to put in cabinets, and you're getting your cabinets from China, maybe you can get by for a little bit less. But I mean, really, it costs what it costs, and that doesn't even factor appliances, right? I mean, you start looking at appliances, and oh my God, gas range top is $1,000. If you're putting in a range and oven, it might be $5,000. I mean, these things add up. So those are upgrades, and you need to, think about those things, to do a little homework on that. In the part of your home buying process, price appliances. Go to a tile store and find out what does it cost, for the tile that you like. If you're going to put in tile on the kitchen floor, for example, or if you're going to do a bathroom, what's a bathroom cost? If you're getting a fully licensed general contractor to put in a bathroom, it can easily be $15,000 to $25,000 without doing, slab marble. I mean, just a nice bathroom. That's what it costs. Can you do it without a general contractor? You can. Will you run into problems? You might. Do they carry insurance and liability insurance? If somebody gets hurt? No, they don't. So a handyman, there's a certain level of risk that you as a homeowner are absorbing that you have to accept. Will it be cheaper? It will be. Will it be cheap enough? You have to decide that for yourself. I can tell you this, though. When I did my remodel in 2015, and I spent a lot of money on my remodel, I didn't have my inexpensive guys that I bring in to just handymen to just lay down carpet or throw in some flooring, change some faucets, that kind of stuff. I brought in guys to do the work, and I generaled it myself. When I was setting my toilet, my sink, my faucets in my powder bath, and my kitchen, I was paying $175 an hour for that plumber. Was he licensed? Yep, he sure was. If I'm a general contractor, am I paying $175 for a plumber? Hell no. I'm paying $175 for a plumber. He's probably paying $55 for his plumber because his plumber's always working under his watch. Maybe it's $70, but it's a fraction of what you would pay as an individual. So on the one hand, you save money not using a general contractor. On the other hand, you pay. It's it doesn't cost, it pays kind of thing when you get quality. So you really have to, look at those things. Certain things, sure. Can you get by with a handyman to put a new shower surround in, or a new countertop, or faucets, mirrors? Absolutely. It's not rocket science. But you really want to be thinking about that. Painting, what's it cost to paint? Never asked anybody, what's it cost to paint? I mean, basically, my inexpensive guys are about $2 a foot. A fully licensed and bonded crew that you hire off the Yelp, they're probably going to be significantly above that. So if I've got a 2,000 foot home, it's going to cost me $4,000 to $5,000 to $5,500 to paint that interior. And by the way, exterior is more expensive. So these are costs that you could run into. One of the things that's really frustrating has to do with things like landscaping, sprinklers, lighting in the yard. These are the types of things that sellers will often neglect. I went and did a photo shoot on a listing, gorgeous house, had a pool, it was a beautiful home. They had all these palms and all this uplighting. And I mean, I couldn't believe, I knew it was going to be gorgeous at night. So I said, hey, we're going to do a twilight photo shoot. So we show up at twilight and the lights aren't on. So I asked the seller, what's going on with the lights? He goes, I went to go turn them on and don't you know, they don't work. The gardener must have cut the lines. I couldn't find it. That's a pain in the rear, let me tell you, a pain in the rear. So when you're looking at a home that's got beautiful curb appeal and it's all lit up at night, don't discount that. That's valuable because if they don't have that and you're going to go put it in later, it's a pain in the rear and it's hard to find someone to do the work. and it's time consuming and it's not inexpensive. So that's another thing, an upgrade, but things that you want to kind of think about as you're looking at it. And of course, you can go on with other stuff. Patio covers. What's a patio cover cost? Well, they're darn expensive. Patio cover could be $5,000-$10,000 without blinking. A deck can be more. So there's a lot of costs that are associated with, with a home and with going through the request for repair and going through the upgrade process. And I just wanted to shed a little bit of light on that so you have a couple tools, things to think about when you go buy your home. It's your first home. You want to have a handle on that, because you don't want the rude awakening, right? Where you realize that, gosh, I don't have the money to fix this. What am I going to do? And then, listen, if you live in Woodland Hills, you better have air conditioning. That's all I got to say. It was 113 yesterday. Hey, so my name is Tim Freund. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I sell houses, so feel free to reach out to me if I can help to sell your home or sell you a home or sell someone you know and care about their home. That's what I do. So I do appreciate you thinking of me in that regard. I'm located along the Ventura County, LA County line. So I work basically from Los Angeles to Ventura. So you can DM me. You can find me on the web, my blog, therealestateconversation.com. That may be where you found this podcast, or you found me on the website, thousandoaksrealestate.com. DM me, send me a text. I'm here for you. Anything I can do to help, by all means, don't hesitate. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll do it again. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Take care.